Hello everyone, my name is Aureo and I usually do this in t-shirt and shorts and flip-flops, but I don't think today is the right day to do that. So I'm coming with a t-shirt over my coat and I do hope that with my story I can warm your hearts a bit and make you feel warmer. I start by saying that if you can see the message, I'd like to say that we are gods. We are gods, all of us here. Everybody around the world is a god because we do create the reality that happens to us. It's for us to make it happen. And so even tonight I'm here standing in front of you because I wanted to do a story, and you're here because you wanted to listen a story, or maybe because you wanted to go with a sauna. But this is only happening because we are all here. And if it wasn't for us, none of this will be happening. And that is true for everything in life. And so with that in mind, I tell you a story about friendship and love, and you need to picture me a 20-year-old. My parents are already divorced. I have two younger brothers, and I'm very much on my own. I dropped out of university. The future looks bleak. There is nothing going well. I have suicidal thoughts at this point, and I think that life is not worth living, despite what everybody else tells you around you. But I managed somehow to find the strength in me of thinking, okay, it cannot continue like this, so it is for me to make a change. I cannot really wait for something to just blindly happen to me. And so I started thinking, okay, what do I really want from my life? And I always wanted a family. And so you need someone else to make a family. You cannot steal a family from other people. And so I thought, if I really wanted to have somebody in my life, who would that person be? There was this girl from high school, from when I used to be in high school, that I really liked. I didn't really know her, and I felt in my mind that she was going to be the person with whom I would have committed the rest of my life to, even though I didn't know her. And so what I did, I took a book and I looked up her phone number. This is how old this story is. So her phone number was on a book, which I looked up, and I called her to just ask her out on a date, because I thought the worst thing is that she's gonna say no. She said yes, and so we went out on a date together. And from that, we went on a second date, and then we went on a third date, and then we kept going on dates until we fell in love, and we started a life together, a life as lovers and friends as well, because it's, growing up in Italy, you get this vision that your other half is almost an enemy. But it's not true. I mean, that's just a fantasy in a place where you're forced to stay with your other half. And instead, if you really choose the person you want to be, and you want to be with them, and they want to be with you, obviously, then it's like a kind of better friendship, let's say, because it really played out for us very well at the beginning. And almost a few months after we started going out together, I had to go in the military service, and I stayed with the military service because it was compulsory back then. That created a bit of struggle and pain in our relationship, but then we decided to stay together. We continue to be together. She made me want to go back to university, and so she managed to inspire me to go back and invest on myself and try to make a better living for myself and for us. I went back to university. We even ended up living a couple of years together, which I highly recommend to everybody who's in a relationship to test out to live together before you commit to something bigger. And we lived together. We ended up graduating from university. She was on a flight to London on the day that Twin Towers fell down, and I was back at home in Italy, and that morning nothing was clear about what was happening, and it was a very painful and memorable day where I had no idea what was going to happen in our lives. She made it to London, nothing really happened, and we went on with deciding to move into the UK. At this point, I also started running. I ran my first marathon. I ran my second marathon. I gave up smoking. I ended up moving to the UK with her. She found a good job. She paid for my bills for a while, so even that was difficult to justify to the family. How can you be, dependent on your woman and not be you the man of the family? But that's just stereotypical Italy. I then managed to find a job myself. We bought our first house together. We had our first child, which is again a great feeling and a great thing to try out in someone's life if that is what you really want. And we both really wanted it. And so we managed through our love to have a child. We then decided to move and leave the Netherlands, leave the UK and move to the Netherlands, which it's a lot of expats complain about the Netherlands, but it's such an amazing place. We are all here for a reason, and we are all here because it's better than where we used to be, I guess. And we had our second child. I ran my 10th marathon by this point. We had our third child, which is the best one of the three. We then, he's a great guy. And then we then bought a house in the Netherlands, which was again another difficult step to make. At this point, I got a very nice job, the best job in my life. They were paying me to travel the world, and so I ended up going to Seattle, Las Vegas, New York, Bogota, Sao Paulo, Rio, Cape Town, Joburg, Dubai, Lisbon, Rome, London, Warsaw, Berlin, Istanbul, Mumbai, New Delhi, Singapore. I went all over the world, and I went while my wife was at home with the 3 kids, and somebody had to sacrifice themselves. And so she sacrificed her career for my career. But then it was all for the greater good of being together and building something together, building the lives we really wanted with the family and the children. And at one point, even being paid to travel the world on business class and live and stay in 4 stars, 5 stars hotel becomes boring, because eventually something that you do that where you lose a bit of passion then becomes boring, and you start looking for new things. And then, so I started looking for a new job. I left my old job. I went to a big corporate American. I resigned after 49 days because it was the worst culture, that the working culture that there could be. It was completely the opposite of my vibe. And so, again, it was for me to decide what was good and what was bad for my life. And so I dropped out after 49 days, and I decided to start my own company. COVID started at the same time, which was a great timing, but then obviously I believed in what I could do. And so I became a consultant. I started working less and getting paid more. Like we all know, consultants don't do that much, but it's not really our fault. We try to sell our knowledge, and people pay for it. And so I ended up having a job that gave me a lot more free time. And so what did I want to do more? I started doing some stand-up comedy, and I started doing some storytelling. And that's simply why I'm here in front of you tonight. And it's no other reason than just following my dreams of doing what I wanted to do. Now, everything that I said until now would have not happened if I took a different choice a long time ago. Last week we celebrated 28 years together. It's been, thank you. 28 years together of a life that would have never happened if it wasn't for her being there with me and helping me throughout my life and helping building a life together. Because I really believe that life is too long to be alone, but it's too short to be with the wrong person. And so it's really for us to think about what we really want and find people that share our own vision to build it together. Thank you very much.